Hello, world. Happy Friday. How are you? I had some technical difficulties. Sorry I'm running a little bit later than I intended to. Let me know how the sound is because I noticed, and I don't know if it was just me, but I noticed in my last video that the um the sound just sounded super echoey, and I don't know if that was just like because I watched my stream back like shortly after I had streamed and like the sound had not fully processed yet or something like that, or if it just is that echoey. So let me know if you're here. So, hello, hi, how are you? Hi, how you doing? Let me know in the stream if the sound is okay, and if because I might be able to do some adjustments. Also, thank you for being here. If you're here, please like the stream. Today we're talking about Mr. Beast. And I woke up this morning with like 7 different video topic ideas that I wanted to cover. And oh, thank you, Catherine. I appreciate it. Thank you, Slushy. Oh, hi guys. Thanks for being here. So I had a lot of different video ideas when I woke up. And what I realized is that like I wanted to know more about the Mr. Beast topic for the sake of talking about it, but it's very scattered. There's a lot of information that has kind of slowly developed over a period of time, the period of time when I was busy on a mission that nobody asked me to go on, doing my cult origins of the troubled teen industry research. So this all unfolded while I was kind of focused on that. And it was in a lot of different disparate sources. So I thought, you know what, I can put all of the information together here today in one video, one stream. And thankfully, serendipity, there was a big update that happened this morning while I was getting ready. So it's going to be at the end of the timeline because it just happened today. So it would be one of the later things that we discuss in the video because we are going to go in chronological order here. But I'm excited because it's a light at the end of what could have been otherwise a very dark and depressing tunnel. So, or at least it could be. I'm going to need your thoughts and opinions on this as we go through. If you're here, hi, hello. Yeah, yes, that's it. You said it in the chat. I want to, spoiler alert, but I want to discuss this because I can see this information going in several different ways. So if you're new to this topic like I am, then you're not going to know necessarily what this comment means, and we're going to discuss it as we go along chronologically. But it might actually be good news. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I put it up on screen. It's good. So we're going to get there. In order for that to make sense, right, Catherine? So in order for that to make sense, we kind of have to go through the history. You know how I am. I don't start at like what just happened today. Why would I do the easy route when I could take a long time doing something harder? Just really really suss out who deserves to be here by the end to hear the new fresh information. I'm joking. I've been up for a while. All right. Before we get into that, because I have a lot of notes, because of course I do, I hope that you check out my sources for this video, which are linked in the description. I'm going to try to name them as I go along, but just in case I miss any, the primary sources are linked in my description. Also, please remember, this is all my opinion, my speculation, my thoughts and speculation based on publicly available information. Take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research, come to your own opinions, etc. Also, I made merch and I finally linked it up to go along with YouTube. So can somebody tell me, because I was trying to find it and I couldn't find it. It's supposed to be like it's supposed to pop up when you're looking at my content. I'm not sure if it would look at a live, like if it would pop up during a live stream and like be there. But I also wasn't seeing it on my past live streams from my accounts. So I'm not sure if it's different because it's my account as opposed to somebody else's. I know that one person did buy one thing, so I know it exists somewhere. But let me know if you're seeing it, and if so, is it easy to use and accessible and stuff, because I want to make sure that it's an okay experience for you guys, because I finally have done the YouTuber thing and put merch out. I want to make sure that it's showing up for you. Also, sorry, last thing. Do I need a haircut or do I need to grow the hair out? This is important. Do we cut it? Do we grow it? Let me know your thoughts. Okay, let's get into MrBEAST. We're going to talk about all of it here in this one video. We're going to start with an article that Time posted about August 13th, so just a few days ago, that I feel like really nicely puts everything together in one place. So let me pull that up for you guys. I'm not going to read through the article all the way because I want you to go read it, honestly. But I think it's a good encapsulation of everything that's been going on. So, what to know about the allegations against MrBEAST and his company. And let me actually clarify my statement. This is not about everything that's been going on. This is about kind of the more public-facing stuff, not as much the stuff that has to do with what was happening within the MrBEAST company. But this article, I'll give you kind of a highlights reel of what this article talks about. So, allegations. The section 1 of this article and kind of the first category of allegations have to do with the Beast games being allegedly unsafe. And this is a production that's being put on by Amazon Prime and MrBEAST, where they're doing this tournament-style competition. You know, you're doing activities, you're either going through or you're getting knocked out, you're narrowing down. And it was advertised for contestants that they would be one of 1,000 contestants to participate in this game, and not so. 2,000 people were actually contestants in this game. It's kind of ridiculous. Contestants alleged that not enough food and water was provided, even though they were doing like outdoor activities, very physical activities, like lifting a boulder, like putting together a pulley system to lift a boulder or something like that. Very physical tasks in this competition. There was still not enough food and water available for the number of staff. It was difficult for some of them to get access to their medication that they brought because they ended up staying overnight. And so hi, I take meds. That would be a huge problem for me. That would be a big problem. So that doesn't make me feel good. There also seemed to be no process or fairness in how the teams were formed. It was just according to the article, there was just a pile of colored jerseys spread about, and everybody just needed to run in and grab a jersey, and then whatever color was the jersey was the team they were going to be on. And what actually happened, this created a mosh pit scenario. And I don't know if you've heard much about the concert. Oh boy, what is the concert where because of the number of people trying to squeeze into a teeny tiny space, people got trampled to the end, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep things. Yes, Astroworld, that one. If you heard about Astroworld, then you know how dangerous that can be. So they also did some kind of a event that involved ropes, and people were getting tangled up in the ropes to the extent that there was a person who had it got wrapped around their neck, and the producers were just not paying attention or not caring, and neither is good. They were just yeah, guys, go with whatever the challenge was. And they were no, we need to stop. This person's wrapped up in a rope. So not a safe environment, which leads me to wonder, have we learned nothing from David Dobrik and Jeff Wittek? Okay. As big as David Dobrik is, he is a 10th maybe of the size that MrBEAST and his platform is. And just if you're not familiar at all with MrBEAST, He's a content creator. He's the biggest subscriber base on this platform. I think the article says how many subs he has. Jimmy Donaldson, better known online as MrBEAST, has been YouTube's brightest star for years, with 308 million subscribers on his main channel. Can you please subscribe to my channel? Because I'm struggling to break 13,000. So, I don't know. Just help a girl out. I know that you're all out there because there's 308 million who can subscribe to Jimmy. So if a few you want to just throw a sub my way. Anyway, with 308 million subscribers to his main channel, a number that balloons to 460 when you include his 4 other channels. I don't think that that's how that works. I think that some of the 308 go to the others, but whatever. He is currently the top subscribed YouTuber on the platform, popularity that led to him earning an estimated $82 million from June 22 to June 23. Donaldson began his career in 2012. Has a long history of making entertaining content that accumulates hundreds of millions of views. The videos often feature him testing people's limits in exchange for a large cash prize. He is also known for his philanthropic work, like paying for cataract surgeries to help 1,000 people regain sight or volunteering in underserved communities. There's a lot of controversy around that, and they mention that here. Some critics have said that offering vulnerable people cash in exchange for demanding physical or mental challenges is ethically murky. Others have criticized him for using his good deeds as content off of which he profits. And then it goes on to talk about another situation that we're going to talk about. But yeah, and the more that I looked into this today, the more that I am absolutely convinced, in my personal opinion, that Jimmy Jam would not be doing all of that philanthropy, if you want to call it that, if it wasn't for views. Rosanna Pansino recently published a video where she was reading through this internal document. I have that video linked, which seems to be basically like not necessarily an employment contract, but kind of a code of conduct in a way of, it's like how to be successful at the MrBEAST Corporation, Team Beast, whatever. And it talks a lot about how he wants his team members to behave and what they need to do. And one of the things that's in there is if you're spending over $10,000 on something that's not on camera, rethink that, or like really double check it or whatever. And I think that, that can cut a few different ways. I think that one of the ways that it cuts is the idea that I'm not going to spend money on anything that's not going to go on camera. So if I'm spending money on something, if I'm donating money, if I'm, giving somebody $1 million to whatever, it's for the purpose of content, not just out of the goodness of my heart. And if it was just out of the goodness of his heart, we would be hearing a lot more people talking about him doing it off camera. Like, for every person that he showcases on camera, there'd be 10 more that he donated to and helped in some way off camera and did not make content about it. So, anyway. Unsafe environment for the Beast games. David Dobrik and Jeff Wittek, we went through this with them, where David Dobrik, as massive as his platform is like 1/10 of the size of MrBEAST's platform. So maybe that's why, maybe MrBEAST just didn't know about him and didn't hear about this whole story. But David Dobrik has a similar kind of channel. I don't know if he's even still actively uploading right now, but a bunch of fun, silly videos, doing pranks and jokes and going to extremes. A few years ago, him and his friend Jeff Wittek and a bunch of other people were all using a backhoe or whatever, some kind of construction thing with a rope coming off of it. And David was driving, it's like, it looks like this, a crane maybe? Who knows construction vehicle words? Let me know in the comments. and there's like a rope coming off, and he was having people like sit on the rope, and he was going to swing them around, and it was going to be very fun. And then when Jeff Wittick got on the rope to be swung around, which he didn't necessarily want to do, but when your boss tells you to do something, you do it. See, good thing you're here, Kate. Excavator. It was an excavator. Also, good point regarding his philanthropy, if he's getting tax breaks for all of these charitable things that he's doing, financial motivation. Anyway, Jeff Wittick, riding on the excavator, got very seriously injured because David Dobrik, who was driving the excavator at the time, allegedly fucked up and caused the machine to stop really quick because he was trying to swing it around too fast. And the machine stopped. The rope that Jeff was on kept going. He like whacked into the side of the machine. Like he had eye surgery. There was like all of this stuff that he had to go through. And that was just one person, one event. And it like almost ruined Jeff's life. Like he almost unalived. He almost passed away from that event. And it was such, like, to me, I felt like it was such a big example of like, you can't just be careless. You can't just be doing shit. You have to be careful. Like, I don't care how rich you are and how cute your content is and wholesome or whatever. If you're swinging people around, if you're doing things that involve people's physical safety, you have to be safe. You know, it's not fun when people get hurt. That's the saying. It's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt. Well, somebody got hurt and MrBEAST ignored it and he said it's still fun and games. So allegedly, right? Okay. So the show that these unsafe environments situations was happening in, the Beast Games, it is still filming in Toronto as of I think it's filming like now. So Rosanna Pansino mentioned it when she posted about it. It's been a subject of concern for sure for people who were there for this first round where 2,000 people showed up. They narrowed it down to 1,000, and it was just an absolute like cluster of an event. Speaking of Rosanna Pansino. Oh, sorry. Regarding the show continuing to film in Toronto, we don't know what will happen with the safety elements there. But one thing that I saw that I just wanted to point out real quick, a different article about this situation is a New York Times article called "Willing to Die for MrBEAST and $5 million," because that's the end prize in this Beast Games show is $5 million. I feel like the title of that article is a little disingenuous because at least in this article from Time that we're looking at, it's clear that the participants did not willingly know what they were getting themselves into. Like I said, they thought they were going to be one of 1,000. They ended up being one of 2,000. That changes things a lot. Among everything else, like the lack of food and water, the lack of safety, you know, like you don't sign up for that. You don't. So I think they were told it was going to be different than it actually was. So I don't like the characterization that they're willing to, willing to die for MrBEAST and $5 million. They accidentally got themselves into a situation where they might have, you know what I mean? But anyway, they were told it was going to be a different situation than what it actually was. And similar allegations to this have come from Rosanna Pansino. So the second section of this article revolves around her a bit. Rosanna Pansino told Time that, quote, she has a history of entering into collaborations with MrBEAST that turned out to be different from what she expected. One of those was her October 2021 participation in a video called Extreme $1 Million Hide and Seek. She got third place, but she alleges that the winner had broken the rules and should have been disqualified, and that the final video that was made from this game was edited in a way that showed her as though she was performing worse than she actually did. When Ro told this story on Just Trish, the Just Trish podcast in October of 2023, she told Time that she, quote, received more death threats than she knew how to process. She said, speaking in her voice, she says, I told Jimmy, MrBEAST, I told him that I would take everything down and apologize to make the death threats stop. I told him I was scared for myself and for my family's safety, and after I took everything down, almost all the death threats stopped. End quote. That's a problem, and we're going to talk more about that later on, but that's section 2 of the allegations in this article. Section 3 revolves around Ava Chris Tyson, and I'm going to keep this part short because it is unclear at this time the level of knowledge or involvement that MrBEAST had regarding this situation. Let me know your thoughts on that, though. I have not deep dived into this subject matter regarding Ava. I haven't had the brain space for it recently, but let me know what you think if you've been watching more about it than I have. So regarding Ava Chris Tyson, a YouTuber named Prism42 recently posted a video with allegations of Ava Chris Tyson having inappropriate conversations with minors on Discord and other social media. Ava denies this, of course. MrBEAST posted saying that he became aware of this conduct, quote, over the last few days, unquote, implying that he was not previously aware. It's hard to tell whether that's true or not. He's not under oath when he makes a post on social media. But he has hired independent investigators to look into the matter. And the law firm was named in one of the articles that I've posted. So it's a law firm. In addition, in addition to the allegations regarding Discord and social media conversations, there are allegations from a woman named Jess. I'm not sure what her age was at the time that she's alleging. I'm not sure what her age was at the time of what she's alleging. But her allegations include that while she worked as Ava's executive assistant for a year, Ava used their position as Jess's boss to SA Jess on multiple occasions. And that's gross. It's disgusting. And at the same time, I don't know to what extent Jimmy Jam Beast was or was not involved or aware of that. I think we're going to find out more about that soon, though. Put a pin in that. We're getting there. Section 4 of this Time article, offensive language. Finally, Rosanna Pansino, who's been leading the charge against MrBEAST on Twitter and X and TikTok, posted videos on X showing Jimmy making racially insensitive remarks and saying a gay slur. This is basically the only allegation that MrBEAST representatives have directly responded to Time about. And they said that he, quote, used inappropriate language while trying to be funny, unquote, and that, quote, over the years, he has repeatedly apologized and has learned that increasing influence comes with increased responsibility to be more aware and more sensitive to the power of language, unquote. However, I'm not sure about that whole learning thing, because this is not the first time that there have been allegations about Mr. James Beast having a toxic workplace and behaving in this manner. Does anybody remember the scandal from 2021 that is essentially on the same topic? Let's take a freaking look at that. Yeah, I have it like scrolled all the way weird. 2021. I don't like this graphic. It's interesting. Oh, can you see it? Oopsie. Hold on. You can't see it. My bad. There we go. MrBEAST, YouTube star, wants to take over the business world. This was when Jimmy was 22 in 2021. This article is by Taylor Lorenz, May 4th, 2021. I have this linked in my sources below. I'll do that because that image freaks me out. Um, so I'm not going to read through this whole article. It is linked in my description. But some of the highlights include staff alleging that MrBeast's workplaces were, quote, rife with favoritism and bullying, unquote, and that Jimmy himself would berate staff daily with ableist slurs, that he gave people credit for other employees' work, and that he stays silent while his zealous fans bully and death threat dissenters until they wipe their allegations from the internet. These attacks have been successful against Rosanna Pansino, Matt Turner, Nate Anderson, and anybody who has been deterred, other former employees who are finally speaking out now, but previously felt they could not. MrBeast's channel and content has been compared to a cult of personality multiple times by multiple different sources, both staff and viewers. And this us versus them mentality that he allows by not saying anything about the death threats. There's none of this, no hate, none of this, don't, come on guys, we're all love. We're not, none of that. Him allowing his fans to do that only exacerbates the us versus them, the cult feeling, and makes his fan base more zealous, extreme, dangerous. So Jimmy Jam Donaldson has not said much, if anything, about all of this publicity, and except through representatives. But he has started to respond to the next group of allegations that I'm going to describe. But he's done those responses behind the scenes. So I'm going to get to those in just a moment. Before I do, let me check in with the chat real quick. How's everybody doing? Hey, everybody. Ooh. So good. I mean, one would hope, considering Dobrik was also one of YouTube's golden boys at one point, I would be hard pressed to believe Jimmy wasn't familiar with that situation. I would think so too, right? So then maybe it's just hoping that, if you think that that was some kind of a freak accident, the David and Jeff thing, then you're like, oh, that was just some freak accident. That's not going to happen to me. But if you understand the situation, then you understand that it was avoidable negligence. And as a business owner who's responsible for people's safety, one would hope that Mr. Buddy Boy can handle seeing things that way. Good point, Kate. David and Jeff were friends. MrBeast is doing this to actual strangers. That is for sure. It makes it different. Hi, Evan. I'm glad you're here. Oh, hi, Sarah. I'm glad you're able to make it. Oh, Kate. So this is coming later. There is news regarding an HR department. So hold on to your hats. So we're gonna. Oh wait. Before we scoot forward though, Slushy, he says he only just became aware regarding Ava, but he had his Discord scrubbed of all sorts of bad things using objectionable language before it became public. So, Good. Good to know. Good to know. All right. So now we get to the most recent things that have been going on in this story, which is former employees speaking out. I know that there's more employees speaking out than those that I'm talking about here today, but I wanted to keep my research focused this morning. Feel free to post additional stories and updates in the chat and in the comments below. I'm just going to stick to a particular slice of this angle of the story, if you will. So Dogpack404, aka Dawson, a former employee of MrBEAST, has put out 2 compelling videos over the past few weeks, and episode 3 in this series is on the way. So, wait, okay, I did not just freak things up. Thank you very much. So let me just show you really quick. I want you to go watch these videos. All right, I think they're fantastic. Let me share you the link. I'll share you the screen. There it is. And I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to do that. That's too small. Okay. Dogpack404. Those are the only 2 videos on their channel. They're not monetized also. They say in the description the videos are not monetized. They're just for educational purposes. Even though both of them have over 10 million views at this moment. One has 11 million, the other has 14 million. He could be making bank off of these videos. He's choosing not to. And I think that speaks a lot to credibility in my mind, especially considering this particular situation, which there's a lot of commentary around MrBeast Jimmy's love for money and prioritization of money overall. They're choosing not to do that and giving up a lot of financial benefit along the way. So there's other reasons to do things in this world besides making money off of it. Good things should be their own reward. Anyway, or they can be. It's a long. There's nuance to everything, but like, don't call yourself a philanthropist if you're only doing the philanthropy for the purpose of a tax break or making money off of the content. Anyway, so Dogpack404 posted these 2 videos. One was about 3 weeks ago. One was about 8 days ago. They have made a significant impact. Look at these millions of views, to the extent that Dogpack did receive some cease and desists. So these are the private responses that MrBeast/team is giving out. The first cease and desist has to do with the idea that the video would have disclosed sensitive, confidential, and proprietary information regarding the company's business operations and content creation methodology in breach of your contractual and legal obligations to the company. It's a former company, first of all. And secondly, even if they signed an NDA, NDAs have expiration dates. And even if it didn't, NDAs cannot be used to cover up crimes. And what I'll say is that Dogpack404 makes compelling cases in both videos regarding potential crimes that are potentially being committed, allegedly. Financial potential crimes, or at least criminal looking, shady looking stuff going on in the first episode. And then in the second episode, either crimes or knowledge of crimes in the second video. So there's that cease and desist from 2 weeks ago. Then there was another cease and desist also 2 weeks ago. Yeah, see, they're not, so in their opinion, not only are your statements about MrBeast and Jimmy untrue, they also violate the clear, binding, enforceable terms of your confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement. Dated March 25th, 2024. So if they signed that agreement that recently, then they could still be within time limit and still need to be quiet. But the thing is, they're not disclosing proprietary information about, like, if you watch these videos, which I'll try to give you a summary. It's definitely like they're hour-long videos. I'm not going to be able to adequately summarize these for you right now, but they're not disclosing anything proprietary. They are presenting strong theories that Mr. Beast is running essentially illegal lotteries. I hope that's not proprietary information about your content creation, you know? But so you can't say that it's not true and say that it's violating the NDA. You know what I'm saying? If it's true, then it would be an NDA violation. If it's false, then it would not be. So is it true that you're doing illegal lotteries, or is it untrue and therefore it's not a violation of the NDA? It's one or the other, you know? Anyway, so we'll see how this unfolds. So why are we working behind the scenes, or at least 2 weeks ago we were, to silence Dogpack 404? And what I'll note is that the most recent of these cease and desists was from 2 weeks ago, at least posted here, and Dogpack has posted their more recent video 8 days ago, and there's no follow-up NDA regarding that video, even though that one kind of has the more serious stuff in it, in my opinion. So that's interesting to me to note as well. So why was there a rush to silence? The first video out of these two, calling MrBEAST a fraud, calls him out for a lot of things, like I said, financial related, including allegedly running illegal lotteries via giveaways on his channel, selling unhealthy food products while also saying the products are like better for you because they're organic. You know what's organic? Sugar, butter. Those are still unhealthy though. Just because something's organic doesn't mean it's healthy. Ipso facto, you know what I mean? Okay, cool. Also, making content that is allegedly exploitative of its subjects. We've talked about that. The philanthropy that's only being done, so it seems, for the sake of making money or tax breaks, not necessarily to help somebody out. Making content that is knowingly and purposefully exploitative of his child audience. You can see him in the video kind of like talking about how they relate to, well, not really. They don't really go into any big detail. This is what I mean. It's not really proprietary information that's being disclosed. They just say like kids are dumb and stuff like that. Like, is that proprietary information? That kids aren't as smart as adults? Like, anyway. And finally, making content that is allegedly pre-planned, pre-scripted, pre-chosen winners who happen to be friends of MrBEAST, allegedly. No matter how much he says his content is not faked, they knew that there was this pre-planned. And so maybe that's the proprietary information, but again, it's not proprietary. People who are adults can look at these videos and immediately know that it's fake. Like, it's not... It's like watching The Lord of the Rings and considering it proprietary information that Ian McKellen is not actually a wizard. Like, oh, what? Huh? I didn't know. Huh? Okay, so, in my opinion, the second video out of these two, though, is where Dogpack, aka Dawson, interviews Jake Weddle, who discusses his absolutely heartbreaking treatment during his tenure at MrBEAST. I want you to watch that video. If you don't go look at anything else from this live stream of mine, go watch the episode 2. I worked for MrBEAST. He's a sociopath. I don't love the diagnostic language, but I get why they're saying it. And he explains why he chooses to say the word sociopath. Anyway, I want you to hear it from Jake's mouth. I can't really properly summarize it. It's so impactful to hear him talk about it. But a quick summary is that Jake describes multiple instances where he felt financially pressured into doing things he did not want to do while he worked at MrBEAST, things that he disagreed with, and even things that made him suffer and gave him lasting trauma. Again, please go check out his video to hear about it in his words. Importantly, this video includes information about somebody named Delaware, a former MrBEAST employee who was also convicted of a certain crime toward a minor that made him register as an offender of said crime. On August 8th of this year, of 2024, Delaware's brother-in-law, Jake the Viking, who also worked for MrBEAST at one point, spoke out on Twitter X saying, quote, "Yes, he is an RSO. When he was 21, a 16-year-old girl accused him and others of SA when she was 17. Delaware took a plea deal. That's why there was no jail time, but he still had to register." I'm just going to mention something quick. If a 16-year-old was talking about an event that took place when she was 11, so 5 years earlier for the both of them, so 21-year-old Delaware would have been 16. If this is true, two people being minors is not enough to overcome something being statutory R. The age difference between the minors is extremely important, and the age difference was too wide between an 11-year-old and a 16-year-old. Gross. Okay? Gross. So, Jake the Viking goes on to add, before being hired, Delaware sat down with Jimmy and Sue, Jimmy's mom, and explained to them everything. So yes, Jimmy knew. Jimmy knew about this person's story and their history before hiring this person onto the MrBEAST team. Okay? Makes me all the more sus regarding Ava. Okay? And what MrBEAST knew or didn't know. Okay? All right. I'm going to try to stop asking K, but I just there's only... Whew. All right. Next, without providing any evidence or reasons for us to believe that Delaware is innocent, Jake the Viking goes on to state, in the case of Delaware, I firmly believe he did nothing wrong and look forward to the day these charges are dropped. So, just real quick, I am not a lawyer. I'm a LawTube watcher. If anybody else is watching the Robert Tellis trial, please let me know in the comments. Also, there's big updates in the Ashley Benefield trial and Alex Murdaugh and Karen Reed that I'd like to talk about. So let me know in the comments, in the chat, if you're interested in me talking about that. A lot of court updates going on. And Sarah Boone. Oh my God, there's a lot. But anyway, I'm a LawTube watcher. I'm not a lawyer. But what I have gleaned from that is that the criminal justice system is complex and sometimes there are benefits to taking plea deals. I wasn't present at the time of this event, so I don't know for sure. But in general, when someone takes a plea deal, it's usually because the prosecution has enough evidence against them to convince a jury that they did the crime. So the person taking the plea deal generally is taking it because they want to cooperate with the police or the prosecution lawyers and, be a good person and end up taking, as a reward for that, a lesser sentence than what they would be likely to get from a jury trial. All that to say, not always, but many, if not most of the time, if someone takes a plea, it is because they did it or because there's enough evidence that it really, 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 really looks like they did it and a jury would believe that they did it. So, during video 2, we also, we have this conversation about the really, really traumatic stuff that Jake felt pressured to go through. while he was an employee of MrBEAST. We talk about this Delaware creep, allegedly. We also talk about, like, as far as Jake being able to say no to these things that he was feeling pressured into doing. We talk about the elephant in the room in that regard, which is that people felt they could not say no to Jimmy Donaldson, aka MrBEAST. In my opinion, MrBEAST was so used to using his fame and his money to get his way that was the only, like, that was his MO. That was his only way of being able to control people, was with his money and his fame and power. And when you're somebody like Jake describes himself, not rich, not coming from a high class background, needing money, if you have to choose between tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars versus your morals, sometimes you have to keep a roof over your head and keep food in your stomach. And so that pressure is not something to just be dismissed. We can see this pressure play out in a section of an internal document that was shown in video number 2, even more of which was recently revealed by Rosanna Pansino in her most recent video, which I have linked in my description. So I'm going to pull up a PDF that shows what I'm referring to. And I thought that I had input it. I did not. Oops. It's uploading real quick. Everybody hydrate real quick. We just need to wait like 30 seconds for this to upload. So this is the thing regarding Delaware and the charges. There's in that tweet, I only gave quotes from it, like, as a summary, but they said that the charges are going to be dropped this fall. And I agree. Charges don't get dropped once there has been a conviction. So, you know, the person posting might not have had the proper legal language. So maybe there's something about, like, his record is going to get expunged. But I thought once you're an RSO, you're RSO for life. Like, I didn't think that was something that goes away. So I'm confused about that whole thing, to be honest. And yes, Slushy. Romeo and Juliet exceptions usually have a minimum age for the younger partner and generally allow for age gaps of 2 to 4 years. So double nope. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yes. It might be a 5-year RSO term. See, I didn't know they were in terms. I thought, well, I already said, I thought that once you're an RSO, you just are one forever. But I guess it's not like a felony in that way. I don't know. Shouldn't it be a felony? I don't know. All right. I can go on for a while about legal stuff. But let's look real quick. So this was posted on Reddit in r/YouTube by XYZ. This is a screen grab from video number 2, where they're talking about why it's hard to say no to MrBEAST. This mentality persists in how they treat each other as well as how they treat other people. So let's just take a look at what this says. This is in that code of conduct that I was talking about before, not necessarily employment contract, but like how MrBEAST wants his people to behave. And it says, no does not mean no. This is written by Jimmy, written by MrBEAST, instructing his people how to be. There we go. It says, no does not mean no. When dealing with people outside MrBEAST Productions, never take a no at face value. If we need a store to buy everything inside of, and you call the local Dollar Tree and the person that answers says, no, you can't film here, that literally doesn't mean shit because we're so freaking cool. I added that part. Talk to other employees and see if see if any are fans or if any have kids that are fans. Note the awareness of kids. Try talking to their boss's boss, incorrectly spelled. Have me DM them on Twitter and try their social team, etc. If after all avenues are exhausted, you are left with a no, that doesn't mean don't try the other Dollar Trees, because the manager of those could be huge fans and willing to bend the rules. Basically, what I'm trying to convey is what we call, quote, pushing through the no, end quote. Don't just stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. This is one of many tools that, when combined, dramatically improve your probability of success when producing here. At MrBEAST and Co. So, right, Kate, this is a sales tactic. This is a sales tactic. It's also a, well, here, let me give you commentary from video 2 about this and how it played out for employees at MrBEAST. Ooh, sorry, I just got surprised by a sound that came through my headphones. So the Team Beast, sorry, forgive me. Let me just pull this up super quick. So basically, this is how the employees felt and understood that this applied to them.
And sort of they're put in positions where it's like, oh, it's either the producer's job or a civilian's job, like where it talks about, hey, maybe the manager would be willing to bend the rules. Well, you shouldn't really be pressuring civilians to bend the rules. That could get them fired, you know?
So I'm going to play that one more time because I was fooling around with the settings and stuff and I didn't get it up right in time. But it seems like a very high stakes job. When Rosanna talks about it, when all these people talk about it, it seems like the consequence for like anything was either you don't get something done, you get demoted or you get fired. So the stakes are high. Yes, Evan, I can't help but agree, especially considering that apparently he was a very like control freak perfectionist to work for, allegedly. So absolutely rancid wording in that document is hilarious, knowing that he's a perfectionist when it comes to video, but not to corporate style writing. Good times. So let's listen one more time with the understanding this is how pushing through the no was like kind of implemented by the employees, and for the reason because of the high stakes.
And so they're very like, they're financially incentivized to be manipulative and sort of they're put in positions where it's like, oh, it's either the producer's job or a civilian's job, like where it talks about, hey, maybe the manager would be willing to bend the rules. Well, you shouldn't really be pressuring civilians to bend the rules. That could get them fired, you know?
In order to avoid putting your own job on the line, essentially, you put somebody else's job on the line. Gross. In my opinion, you know? One more. Yes, okay. So this little gemstone shows, in my opinion, MrBEAST actively, knowingly encouraging employees to use his name to allegedly. Oh, wait. Okay, sorry. This is Mr. Beast actively, knowingly encouraging his employees to use his name and his celebrity to pressure other people into giving him and his team what they want. If he tells other people to do this, it certainly makes me think that he does it too. And that to me is not something that you just like accidentally do because you're just like unaware of your influence and you're just like innocently wanting something and you just ask for the things that you want. This is, if you go to the extent of like pushing through the no, like a sales tactic like we discussed, or to the extent that you're pressuring people, like exhaust every possible avenue, put somebody else's job on the line to get a task done for me. You do that purposefully, you do that willingly, you do that knowledgeably. You push to the limits like that because you think you can, because you think you're entitled to, because you think you deserve whatever that outcome is that you're pushing so hard to get. And especially when you're having other people do that push for you and having other people face the resistance, the backlash, having to negotiate that, having to deal with, upsetting people, pressuring people, scaring people, manipulating people to give you what you want. Really, really gross. Delegating your manipulation is a really gross way to run a business, in my personal opinion, if that's allegedly what's happening and what looks like is happening based on your written employee document. Anyway, here in video number 2, Dawson, aka Dogpack404, teases a third video that's coming up related to allegations of sexual misconduct that Jimmy Beast allegedly knew about and helped to cover up. So that's incoming at some point, which is what makes it particularly interesting to me that, again, the cease and desists stopped 2 weeks ago toward Dogpack 404, and that there was not an additional cease and desist after video number 2, the most recent video. So it kind of, that combined with the responses we're about to see makes me extremely cautiously optimistic. But I've had my heart broken so many times by these influencers. It's like, don't fool me. Don't pretend, because you're gonna make me give you the benefit of the doubt, and then you're gonna pull the rug, and I don't want to deal with that shit again. But there was an update this morning. At this point, I think it was around 9 or 10 a.m. this morning, so it was about 4 or 5 hours ago. Jake Weddle, whose story was heavily featured in the second video by Dogpack. He uploaded a video describing a private response that he got from MrBEAST. That video is linked in my description. Go check it out. I think check out episode 2 first, because otherwise it will not make much sense. So I'm just going to summarize. Jake posted a video just a few hours ago saying, in short, that after Jake bared his soul in the second video by Dogpack about how traumatized he was by his experience with MrBEAST, especially specifically the solitary confinement experience. Yup, that happened. Jimmy recently reached out to him. MrBEAST reached out to Jake, apologized, and offered to send him money to try to make up for it. According to Jake, he specifically said, MrBEAST said that he didn't want Jake to feel like he had to make a big public thing about it, but that this could be a personal, private solution between the two of them. Jake didn't want accepting the money to make him beholden to MrBEAST, but he also needed the money, it's that conflict. And I think that Mr. Beast has gotten to a place where he's lost consciousness. He's lost the concept of the meaning of the money that he throws around. Like, for him to have that clause in his code of conduct or whatever about, like, if you're going to spend more than 10 grand on something, really think about it. Like, so I can spend up to 10 grand on something? How about spending $9,999 on just like sending that to me? You know, like I'll I'll be a cost. I have some bills to pay. I have some debts. Like, it's crazy to me that an amount under 10,000 doesn't even register as like significant to him, you know? But like he's lost the concept. He's lost the plot in terms of the impact of money. So, in my opinion, Jake didn't want accepting Mr. Beast's money to make him beholden to Mr. Beast, but he also needed the money because he's not a multimillionaire like Mr. Beast. He has debts to pay, including medical debt that may or may not have come from the god-awful experience that he endured working for Mr. Beast. So, Jake struck a deal where he accepted about 26% of what Jimmy offered him. So he had enough to pay his debts, but it was on the condition that he could still continue to say whatever he wanted to about Mr. Beast, provided it was true. Defamation is still a thing, you know. Jake says that Mr. Beast agreed to that. And as of now, this morning, the payment has not arrived, but Jake will keep us informed as to if or when it ever does arrive. So that's a very interesting development to me. If what Jake says is true, and I have no reason to think he's lying, I feel like there is a slight possibility. Again, I'm not going to get my hopes up, but I'm just going to recognize there is a slight possibility that Jimmy may finally be getting it. And again, it's a slight possibility because this shit was coming out back in 2021 in a different way, different people, but same patterns, same behaviors. So I'm not very hopeful, but it's a different response than what we have seen thus far. It's also a different response compared to 2 weeks ago. Cease and desists were being sent out behind the scenes. Now, money is being sent behind the scenes without a caveat of silence. So, that's improvement to me, okay? Because he called Jake on the phone and like verbally like apologized to him about the experience was not meant to be so traumatizing to Jake as it was. So I'm like, okay, so we're understanding and accepting that something went wrong here. Okay. Again, provided what Jake says is true, but I have no reason to think that Jake is lying. So I feel like there's a slight possibility that there is a light at the end of this tunnel, far, far away, down a long dark tunnel, because Jimmy has a lot of making up to do. If he's about to start sending people money and making up to people, you know, I'm okay with him doing that. It's the right thing to do. But there's a lot of people, it seems, that he's hurt and that his fandom has hurt and that he has a lot of making up to do. So I'm very dubious. I'm very cautiously leaving one small window open to hope here that something might turn out okay. Jimmy has a lot of making up to do, but there also might be more serious repercussions coming his way, depending on what is revealed in episode 3 of this series that Dogpack 404 is doing. So we'll have to see, you know? We'll really have to see. If Mr. Beast is making things right behind the scenes, hopefully it means that he'll eventually speak out publicly. I hope that he at least reprimands his followers for going out and death threatening people in 2024. Like, this is not 2018. I'm so sorry. We have got to be over allowing our communities to cyberbully. Please don't send hate to MrBEAST. You all know better than that, but just in case anybody needed a reminder, don't send hate to anybody that I talk about ever. Thank you so much. There's also a promising sign of potential actual change in this article that I found from August 8th. So let me pull that up for you as well. There's gonna be ads, because why wouldn't there be? Let's see what we can do. Does it look okay? Oh, everybody, let's all get Sky Rizzy. All right, just ignore it. I'm sorry. So this article starts with MrBEAST wants full assessment of internal culture amid allegations as of August 8th, 2024. Why does it have to be some weird medical thing going on? Is that all right? Oh boy, oh boy. There. Okay. A confidential memo shows that MrBEAST has ordered a full assessment of the internal culture in his YouTube empire and an investigation into, quote, allegations of inappropriate behavior by people in the company. This article is by James Pollard from the Associated Press. It was published on August 8th. There we go. MrBEAST basically expresses that he wants to do a full assessment of his company's internal culture, according to a confidential memo obtained by the Associated Press. Some highlights of the memo include, quote, plans to hire a chief human resources officer and require company-wide sensitivity training, end quote. Good sign. As well as plans to hire a CFO, chief financial officer, and general counsel, which is basically the company lawyer, and to implement a, quote, anonymous reporting mechanism, end quote, which typically is basically an anonymous hotline or tip line kind of that an employee can call to say, I saw X employee doing X bad thing, and report it without repercussions against their own career. Not that there should be any repercussions anyway when something like that is reported, but the anonymous hotline helps to solidify that in case there's any doubts. This is all good stuff. It's very corporate. It's very two sides of the coin, these particular actions, because they're company protective as well as they're protective toward the individual employees. So some of them are good actions, but like it would feel more employee focused if there was like, we're introducing a benefit package, we're introducing paid time off, we're introducing a cap of 40 hours a week for your work week, we're raising people's pay, we're, you know, like that would be the stuff that would make me think, oh, this is very like, oh, I want to make sure I'm treating my employees well. Right now, it's a little bit of that with the human resources department, but it's mostly like, we're going to whip you guys into shape so that you don't go out there and embarrass me by saying something racist, sexist, homophobic, whatever. And we're going to, if you do, I have a lawyer, the general counsel. And if you see anybody else doing it, you can report it anonymously. You can all tattle on each other. And then the CFO is just going to help with money. In a way, having a human resources officer helps the employee because there's a certain amount of advocacy that a HR department can do on the employee's behalf, but they're I don't know. It's a 50-50 kind of position where they're they're also meant to protect the company in certain ways. So like protect the company from the employee suing them. That's part of why you treat employees well, so the employees don't sue you. So it's very corporate. And most importantly, there is no indication of who is going to oversee and run the full assessment that Mr. Beast wants done of his company, of the internal culture. If it's an internal investigation, any respect that I had for this idea goes out the window. Because if you're going to investigate yourself, I am not convinced that you're going to do a good job and like find things that need to be fixed. We are not objective when it comes to viewing ourselves analytically, so internal assessments don't tend to be the most accurate. It's a start. Hopefully it's not all just for show. I will be paying attention to whatever comes of this. Yeah, exactly. And I think this is very important when it comes to an anonymous tip line. Kate says whistleblower protections should also be added, IMO. And that's the thing, is like, if you work in a small company and it's truly like a hotline that people call, essentially, or a report, like an anonymous reporting system. It could be like anonymous emails or something, but if it's a hotline, which often it is, people's voices are recognizable, especially when you work in a very small company and everybody's an entertainer, and they kind of have their actor voice on like all the time. So you can find out quick who the whistleblowers are, and you don't want there to even be a potential that there might be repercussions. So it's tough. I'm checking out the comments right now. Dogpack is getting a lot of criticism about his motives. I don't know these people, so like I can't really comment on motives, but I kind of don't care what the motives are if what they're saying is true. If they're exposing real stuff, I don't know if that's a hot take or whatever, but like I don't care why you're exposing dangerous things that are going on, as long as what you're saying is true and provable and exposing it protects other people, then like, okay. I think it can't really be a financial motive if the video is demonetized and he's not making money off of it. I don't know. I don't know anything about Ludwig. I'm seeing that there was an interview with Ludwig. I don't know Dogpack, and I don't know the history and all of that stuff, so I can't really speak to that. I barely know Ludwig. I have heard of the name a few times, but I can't say that I'm like familiar. I know that they're a gamer, streamer, I think. I'm not sure. They're not in my genres that I watch. I watch a lot of lawyers. Allegedly, the hired law firm is doing the investigation. They're investigating Ava Tyson. I don't know if they're also investigating the company. I think that might be a good idea. But I know that like the article was specific about saying that they were investigating Ava, but they did not say who is doing the company investigation. So that's the part that I'd like to see clarified a little bit more, that I have not seen. Yes, Yugi. So, and this is a thing that a lot of people have pointed out. Back to the like code of conduct rule about no does not mean no. That phrasing is, again, willfully, purposefully, in my opinion, knowingly, a reference to no means no, which is about being anti-SA and like let's respect people's voices when they say no, and like consent matters and stuff like that, which is why I have a real hard time with with sales, and especially with the idea of that pushy salesman, that pushing through the no. You shouldn't have to push through the no to sell a product. Your product should speak for itself. If you have to do that much pushing, it's not worth it. And similarly, if you have to push that hard to get what you want to make a stupid video, something is going wrong. Something is, priorities are not in place. It matters for you to treat well the people that you are working with and not to manipulate your way through the world. But I think that, again, he's so used to doing it because he's been so famous for so long that it just doesn't faze him. Just like with the money, I feel like he's lost concept of, in my opinion, right, the value of the money that he just throws around. I feel like he's lost the concept of what it would be like to not be this mega subscribed YouTuber and not have the influence that he has. So it's like, what a gross way to say it. And it does feel like I'm so smart. Like the most white male privilege way of saying to push through the no, if that is, which I hate that phraseology anyways, but like, sure, let's allude to SA and women being SA'd when we say to manipulate people to give me what I want. Like it's obscene. And it's disgusting. And it's privileged and it's gross. So yeah, and that's the kind of thing that makes me very cautious about hoping that we're seeing any positive signs here with the, trying to make amends with Jake and with this internal investigation and the bringing in HR, and like there's potentials that, these could be some good signs. It could also not be. It could also be very PR focused rather than actually like introspective, and it could all be performative. It's really hard to tell at this point. I'm very curious to see the third video that Dogpack puts out. If he goes on a similar schedule to what he had from the previous video, the first one was 3 weeks ago. The second one was 1 week ago. So maybe in about a week, if he does them 2 weeks apart each, I don't know, we might get number 3. In the meantime, though, Rosanna Pansino is posting a lot about this subject, and it's all over Twitter, X, it's all over TikTok. So there's a lot more information about this if you want to go explore. Definitely explore my comments section because I have the full version of all my sources linked there. I recommend that you watch the Dogpack videos. I really, really do. I think that they're very well done, and I think they had to be because of the seriousness of what they're talking about and the likelihood of them getting sued if they get it wrong. Remember, it's not defamation if it's true. People wouldn't say shit and risk defamation unless it was true, if they're smart. And I think these people are smart. So that's where we're at. These are the MrBEAST allegations thus far, my thoughts on them so far. We know that more is coming with the episode 3 from Dogpack, so it's kind of a waiting game right now. Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments, in the chat if you're still here. Do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to my channel if you have not yet. I think a little less than half of the people who watch my stuff, around half the people who've watched my stuff in the last month have not been subscribed. So Just check that button. Just see if YouTube unsubscribed you or if you just haven't thought to do so. Put your notifications to all because I tend to stream these days at an unpredictable schedule. Sorry about that. My life is just a little bit up in the air right now. Also, I added merch for the first time. Check out, let me know if you see it. Let me know in the comments if you see the merch actually like showing up for you, because it's supposed to be connected to YouTube through fourth wall, and I have not seen it from my end showing up on my videos. So I don't know if that's just because it's my account and maybe for somebody else's account it would show up. I'm not sure exactly how it works because I've seen it before. Like I've seen people's products. So I don't know. And if you like anything, you can grab it. That's all, I think. Happy Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. Let me know what topics you're interested in me talking about because I have a long list. And I had like 3 different sentences that all tried to come out at the same time. I was having a hard time picking which one to say. So we'll just say this. I'm tired. I gotta go. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much for being here. Peace be with you always. Goodbye.